I found out my best friend was sabotaging my career for years, and let me tell you, it's a story that still makes my blood boil. My name's Jake, and I've been working in the marketing industry for nearly a decade now. I'm the kind of guy who always believed in the power of friendship, and I trusted my friends with my life. But trust, as I learned, can sometimes be a double-edged sword. Let me take you back to where it all began. I met Tom during my sophomore year in college. We clicked instantly, bonding over our shared love for classic rock and an unhealthy obsession with spicy chicken wings. We became inseparable, and naturally, when we both landed jobs at a prestigious marketing firm, it felt like our friendship was written in the stars. We dreamed of rising through the ranks together, maybe even starting our own firm one day. But life had other plans. At first, everything was smooth sailing. We were the dynamic duo, nailing campaigns and winning accolades. Our bosses loved us, and our clients were impressed. We often stayed late at the office, brainstorming ideas, fueled by caffeine and the excitement of creating something impactful. I trusted Tom with everything, my ideas, my struggles, my aspirations. We were more than colleagues, we were brothers. A few years into our careers, I started noticing something odd. Projects I was leading began to fall apart unexpectedly. Emails I was sure I'd sent never reached clients, and important meetings were rescheduled, without my knowledge. It was perplexing, but I chalked it up to a hectic schedule and perhaps my own oversight. I mean, who wouldn't make a mistake or two when juggling multiple projects? But then there were whispers, little tidbits of gossip that seemed to follow me around the office. At first, I dismissed them as typical workplace chatter, but they grew louder and more persistent. Rumors that I was unreliable, that I couldn't handle pressure, and even that I was considering leaving the company. It was bizarre and unnerving, yet I couldn't trace their origin. Around this time, my relationship with Tom also started to feel strained. He seemed distant, often brushing off my concerns with a laugh or changing the subject. I figured he was stressed too, and I didn't press him. After all, he was my best friend, and I trusted him implicitly. The real turning point came during one of our biggest accounts, a campaign for a major tech company. I had poured my heart and soul into the project, working countless late nights to perfect every detail. The day before the big presentation, Tom and I stayed late, going over the final touches. I left the office feeling confident and excited. However, the next morning, disaster struck. The presentation was a mess. Key slides were missing, data had been altered, and it was a complete train wreck. I was humiliated, and the client's trust in us was shattered. My boss was furious, and I could feel my reputation slipping through my fingers. In the aftermath, I was desperate to understand what had gone wrong. I started digging through my files, emails, and messages, trying to piece together what had happened. That's when I noticed something, a series of deleted emails in my sent folder. They were messages between me and the client, but the content had been altered to make it look like I was incompetent and rude. I couldn't believe my eyes. Someone had been messing with my emails, but who could it be? I decided to take my concerns to IT, hoping they could trace the changes. What they found was shocking. The IP address used to access my account belonged to none other than Tom. I was floored. My best friend, the person I trusted more than anyone, had been sabotaging me all along. It felt like a punch to the gut. I confronted Tom, hoping there was some explanation, some reasonable excuse. But when I looked into his eyes, all I saw was a mix of guilt and defiance. He confessed, albeit reluctantly. He admitted to altering emails, spreading rumors, and undermining my projects. His reason? Jealousy. He couldn't bear the thought of me outshining him, of me climbing the ladder faster than he was. It was petty and selfish, and it destroyed everything we had built. I was devastated. Not only had I lost a friend, but my career was in ruins. I took the evidence to my boss, and after a thorough investigation, Tom was fired. But the damage was done. My reputation had taken a hit, and it took months to rebuild the trust I had lost with my colleagues and clients. In the end, I decided to leave the firm. It was too painful to stay, surrounded by memories of betrayal. I moved to a new city, started fresh in a different company, and slowly began to heal. It wasn't easy, but I learned to be more cautious, to not take trust for granted. Starting over in a new city was daunting. I had to build everything from the ground up, from my professional network to my personal life. It was like being thrust into an alternate universe where everything was unfamiliar, and I was a stranger in my own skin. The first few months were tough. I was constantly on edge, questioning everyone's motives and feeling like I had to prove myself all over again. But slowly, things began to change. I found a new job at a marketing firm that valued creativity and collaboration. My new team was supportive and encouraging, and it felt like a breath of fresh air. I threw myself into my work, determined to make a name for myself without the shadow of betrayal looming over me. As time went on, I started to make new friends. At first, I was guarded, but as I got to know them, I realized that not everyone was like Tom. There were people who genuinely cared, who wanted to see me succeed and who would support me without ulterior motives. It was a revelation, and it helped me slowly rebuild my trust in others. One of my new friends, Sarah, became a close confidant. We bonded over our shared love of hiking and exploring the local trails. On one of our hikes, I opened up to her about what had happened with Tom. It was the first time I'd shared the full story with anyone outside of my immediate family, and it felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Sarah listened without judgment, offering empathy and understanding. She shared her own experiences of betrayal, and we talked about how those experiences had shaped us. It was cathartic, and it helped me realize that while betrayal is painful, it doesn't have to define you. You can learn from it, grow from it, and emerge stronger on the other side. With time, my career began to flourish again. I was promoted to a senior position, leading projects that challenged and excited me. I regained the confidence I'd lost, and my passion for marketing reignited. It was empowering to see how far I'd come, and it reminded me that no matter how dark things get, there's always a way forward. Occasionally, I'd hear snippets of news about Tom through mutual friends. He had moved on to another company, and from what I heard, he was struggling. Part of me felt vindicated, but another part of me felt a twinge of sadness for the friendship we'd lost. Despite everything, I couldn't completely erase the good memories we'd shared. But I knew that reaching out to him wouldn't change anything. Some things are better left in the past. Reflecting on the entire experience, I realized how much I'd learned about myself. I became more resilient, more discerning, and more appreciative of the people who truly had my back. I learned to set boundaries, to protect my energy, and to surround myself with people who uplifted me. I also discovered the importance of forgiveness, not for Tom, but for myself. Holding on to anger and resentment only weighed me down, preventing me from fully moving on. By forgiving myself for being too trusting, I was able to let go of the past and embrace the future with open arms. Today, I'm in a much better place. My career is thriving, and I'm surrounded by supportive friends and colleagues who value integrity and collaboration. I've learned to trust my instincts and to listen to that inner voice that warns me when something doesn't feel right. The experience with Tom taught me that while betrayal is painful, it's not the end of the world. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become a better version of yourself. I've come to realize that life is too short to dwell on the past, and that moving forward is the best way to honor the lessons I've learned. So, there you have it. A tale of friendship turned sour, of ambition twisted into envy. It's not the kind of story with a happy ending, but it's real, and it's mine. While it wasn't the journey I envisioned, it led me to a place of resilience and strength, and for that, I am grateful.